After the grueling campaign, everything has settled, and now you're members of parliament. You're going to be officially sworn in as members of parliament. In hindsight, what can be made better in our electioneering process?
Well, one of the things, and let me first of all say good morning to our viewers, and I want to extend my warm regards also to the people of Mukurweini this morning. One of the things we need to do is we have a change of our election regulations and our election laws too close to the general election. That is one of the things that makes our election a little bit unpredictable. If you look at some of the challenges that IBC had in terms of printing materials and also in terms of preparation for the general election, it had to do with delay in change of the regulation. Partly, some of it caused by IBC themselves, because they also proposed changes to the law, particularly on the things that had been proposed by Supreme Court in the last election period. And then the other delay comes from the executive. Yeah, sometimes you find that the Attorney General's office or the other executive offices that are supposed to deal with the changes in the laws, they don't propose these laws to the Parliament in good time. And of course, the other challenge would come to in Parliament, where there is the delay in enactment of those regulations and the laws. So that is one of the areas where we need to change. The other thing is, unlike probably many other times, this time we have had too much of fake news. There has been a lot of misinformation, and unfortunately this time around the misinformation has not only gone through the social media, it also permeated in the mainstream media, unfortunately, and that misinformation sometimes was very misleading to Kenyans. And I think on that we need to put our best foot forward in terms of being a little bit more professional when it comes to reporting, and also when it comes to what is given to the public. Because some of the people have made or even made decisions or may have acted based on wrong information. And so I find that to have been a major setback in our electioneering period this time around, particularly because of permeation of these misinformation through the mainstream media. And when I say this, I don't mean only one media house. I mean like most of the media houses sometimes would give information which is not verified. Most of the journalists this time around may not have gone out of their way to question certain positions and even certain information that was presented to them. Some of them just, broadcasted information that may not have been correct. So those are some of the things that we have had as a bit problematic. The other thing which I also found to be a bit of a challenge is where the law accommodated too much of negotiations other than the serious democratic process of nominating candidates. So this time around, of course, and some of us may have been beneficiaries of the same, but that does not mean that is the right thing to do. We need to allow those people who may be interested to run for office to go and fight it out there in the public, and let the public decide. Let the public make their own choices in terms of who is going to be nominated or who is going to get the party ticket. But this time around, you realize that party tickets were either hawked or bargained for, or sometimes even forced on candidates. And many people who were good candidates did not see the light of day, because the party bigwigs, the party barons, decided who was to run for what office. That is not good for our democracy. In future, we need to tone down that approach. It may have been seen like it has reduced the messiness and the noisy and messy affair of a nomination process, but it is not good for our democracy. Let the people themselves decide who they want to be handed the party ticket, rather than the party bigwigs deciding who is going to run on their ticket. Right. And that is going to grow our democracy. It's also going to ensure that even those people who may not have a big name or big monies get the opportunity. Okay. And of course, in UDA party, we had a better opportunity of getting closer to that process of nominations. Okay. Not that we did the best, but maybe we had a better attempt at that. Right. Some of the other political parties, like Jubilee Party, they completely shelved the idea of nomination process, which to me may have closed out some of the very nice candidates who would have competed with other candidates on the ground in a more profound manner and in a more competent manner. Okay. So those are some of the areas which I think we need to look at as we move forward in our political process.
All right.